Hey everybody, welcome back to Runaway Trains. Drake and Joe here are about to show you our Thomas and Friends collection. Say hi, Drake.
Hi,
And what train did you want to start with today, Drake?
Thomas.
Well, of course we got to start with Mr. Number what?
One.
Mr. Number One. Let's bring him around over here. We kind of moved a few things around today. There was something that was sitting here and we moved it. What was it?
It was a factory.
We have a coaling factory, and it was kind of blocking the view, you know. This is sort of our setup here where we have our controls. And when Drake wants to set up a train, I usually stand next to him. And that factory has kind of been getting in our way. So we just moved it just while we're making videos. And
Oh, can't forget about the coaches.
so Drake has some special coaches here that go with Thomas.
Annie and Clarabelle.
Well, that's the famous Annie and Clarabelle. Now, Thomas is pulling passengers, but does he ever pull freight?
Yes.
And what do they call the freight cars? A goods train, right?
Yeah.
Who makes Thomas, Drake?
Bachmann.
Bachmann. You guys all know Bachmann trains, and if you're Thomas and Friends fans, you know that they make the whole line of the Thomas engines. And you can even buy a Sir Topham hat if you want.
Yes.
I don't know. Personally, I'd rather put the money towards an engine, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, there goes our Thomas with Annie and Clarabelle. Thomas in his blue livery with his number one on the side there.
Gotta put the whole train right there.
Now, Thomas is based on a real train, isn't he?
Yeah, he's based off the E2.
The E2?
Yeah.
And of course, that was a British train.
Yes.
I'm looking at Thomas here and I'm seeing a headlamp on there. I can't remember. Did you put that on there, Drake?
Yes.
Yeah. And coming up next, we have our number two engine there.
Yep.
Who's number two?
Edward.
Edward.
I'll put that one.
Sometimes I get Edward and James mixed up, but I'll remember that James is the red engine.
Yep. James is red. And Edward's blue.
And now, we all know Thomas, but Edward, what is Edward's personality? You know how like James is kind of like stuck up and conceited. He's like, I have, smashing red paint. And
Splendid.
Splendid, that's what he says. I have splendid red paint. What does Edward say? Does he have any kind of special attitude or personality?
Well, Edward is an old kind engine.
An old kind engine. So is he there maybe to help out the other trains? Is he a good helper?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's give him a little bit of steam.
Gotta slow him down because of his front trucks. They love to derail when it goes around the curves. And for some reason, Edward just got stuck.
I think we've said in other videos before how it's important to run your engines. You know, like we like to collect them, yeah, but every once in a while you got to put them on the tracks and run them around a couple times. Keep all the grease greasy and not all gummy. I'm gonna let him go around one more time.
And make sure he doesn't derail.
There it goes. He's doing better now. That's all you needed, Edward, was just a little bit of exercise.
The eyes do move, so.
That's right. On the Thomas trains, their eyes do move. Let me switch directions here. There it goes. Edward, you're being so kind today. There he goes. And if you're just joining us, we're here today. We're running all of our Thomas and Friends trains. We've made a few videos this past month or so running different trains that we have. A few weeks ago, we had run all of our American diesels down here, DC only. And then we were running, what did we run next, Drake?
British trains.
We ran all of our British trains, and then we saved all the Thomas trains to do on their own video. Who do you want to do next? Are we doing them in kind of number order?
Yes.
So is there a number 3 train?
Next will be Henry.
Henry.
We all know the story about Henry.
That's my favorite Thomas episode, when Henry, he doesn't want to come out of the tunnel because it's raining. And we know what happens. Sir Topham Hatt, they build a wall around him so he can't get out. I mean, that's pretty sick. For a kid's show, that's pretty mean, you know.
But they let him out eventually.
They did let him out eventually. But that's one of the more memorable episodes. Do you guys have a favorite Henry episode? Let us know in the comments. So here comes good old Mr. Number 3, Henry.
And just starts right on up.
Henry is based on the Black 5, right?
Yes, the Black 5. Henry is actually kind of fast.
He's got some speed to him, huh?
Yeah, he's going to be swinging back, so there you go.
So Henry and Edward are tender engines, and Thomas is a tank engine. That's why they say Thomas the Tank Engine, right?
Not Thomas the Tender Engine. That would not make any sense.
Although I'd like to see what Thomas looks like running with the tender for long distance, I suppose.
Yeah, long distance.
So we got 1, 2, 3,
4.
Now 4. Who's number 4, Drake?
Gordon.
Gordon is number 4. And what do they call him? The big blue engine?
Gordon, I think, the Express engine.
He's the Express engine? He pulls the Express, huh?
Yes.
How is he running? Our Gordon has been a little bit temperamental. How's he going to do?
Moves, but I'm not going to move him for long because of his motor.
Yeah, we think something going on inside, and his front wheel came off there. But let's give it a little power again, and I'll let people hear what he's doing. I'm going to move you close there so you can hear it.
Tender derailed. Okay.
Something's definitely frying in there. Let's not run him. But that's our Gordon. You know, we were thinking of replacing him, getting another one. We were looking online. How much did we see him? I think he was about $129 on Amazon. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, the Bachmann website will have a sale, but you end up paying in the shipping. And I think probably the best bet is Model Train Stuff, Drake. Is that the one we look at?
Yes.
Yeah, Model Train Stuff.
Yeah, Gordon smells like something just burnt within his system.
Yeah, he's definitely got something going on there. We'll have to open him up.
I mean, he ran good, but now he doesn't run at all.
Yeah, he ran good when we first got him, but now not so much. It looks like maybe... Oh, no, I thought maybe he fell because that's got a little... I thought it was broken, but that's actually supposed to be a little curve there. We got him from somebody who was giving away a train layout. And I think, wasn't he like hidden inside the tunnel or something?
Yes.
And when we got the layout at home and we were cleaning it up, we looked in the tunnel and was like, oh, man, hey, there's a train in there. What is it? And then we look, and it was this guy. So Gordon was actually our very first Thomas train, wasn't he?
Yeah. But he did not have a tender.
And he didn't have the tender. We actually went on the Bachmann website.
And purchased his tender.
We purchased it from the Bachmann website.
From the parts.
From the parts link that they have there. If you look on the Bachmann site, you can buy parts. You know, let's say like we were missing the tender. You know, you can find everybody's tender on there. Or if you just need,
Like a chassis.
A chassis or something. You know, I think you can also buy the hook and loop stuff there. Any of you Thomas engine people out there that are missing parts, well, make sure you check the Bachmann website.
They have all the parts you need.
All the parts you need and more. We got the splendid red engine over here. Who's this?
James.
James. Hello, James.
Well, James I have the red engine and the Origin James, which is black and with yellow stripes.
So we'll have to show you the other James too. We'll run them all.
I'll run this one first and I'll go get the other one. James could... There we go.
Like I said, you know, sometimes the engines are sitting on the shelf for a while. You got to dust them off and bring them out and run them. Make sure all the moving parts are still moving. It's like a person, you know, if they don't exercise, well, things start to lock up.
Again, it's a Thomas train, so its eyes are going to be moving. Oh, yeah, that was knew that was going to happen.
I think we got a little derail or his front trucks.
This is his front trucks. That happens all the time on the Bachmann models.
Yeah, there's not a lot of weight at the front of the engine, so sometimes those pilot wheels derail. But while we're right here and you've got James right now next to Henry, I'm going to swing you guys over here for a second on our layout. We actually built a little forest over here for Henry. And I was just thinking about it when James went past there. But those tracks that go back there, that's a little hideaway for our Henry. When he wants to get a little privacy or break away from everybody, he can go there in his forest. You guys have noticed that we're using the Cato track on our layout. We've got a few people who follow us that are also Cato fans, so we want to give you guys all a shout out as well. Now, we're going from the red James to what?
To Origin James.
Origin James. Now, this guy over here has the black paint with the red stripes.
Black paint with red stripes, but it's supposed to be yellow, I think.
You sure about that?
In the TV series, I think it's supposed to be yellow stripes.
Okay. I know there's a lot of people who are real enthusiasts of the Thomas Model Railway TV shows and are real sticklers about the actual models they use and how they differ from the Bachmann trains. Sometimes there's little things that are wrong, like Thomas, like his bunker's supposed to be gray or something like that, or...
No, that's supposed to be blue like that.
So that Thomas is accurate?
Thomas is accurate.
And then some of the trains are not.
Notice how Thomas, I'm going to grab Thomas right now. Thomas, he has a tail lamp, but I kind of painted that red, so it looks... So, yeah, it looks better. But some of the tender engines, like Edward, Gordon, Henry, James, don't have tail lamps on their tenders.
So there's nothing back there on those, right? Are they supposed to?
They're all supposed to have tail lamps.
So when you watch the episode with Gordon in it, he's going to have a tail lamp there, huh?
Yeah. All the engines do. Tank engine or not. They're supposed to have a tail lamp.
Yeah, I don't know why, companies do that. They leave stuff off. Maybe they're saving money, or maybe it's a detail that they don't think the fans are going to notice. But I'll tell you, what I've learned about Thomas fans is they notice everything. So let's give Origin James a little move here.
And when Origin James goes by, he's going to have a tail lamp, but it's going to be molded in on his tender. I don't know why he went He's gonna have a tail lamp, but it's like molded in to the plastic. I think James can open that up. The other James, let's fix that. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, there we go. Maybe give him a little bit more steam. It always likes derailing.
Here's a fuss pot.
See, there's a tail lamp on the tender. Let's mold it into the plastic.
You guys can see that molded in tail lamp there.
But Thomas's is not molded in.
Is that separately applied?
That's separately applied. Thomas is the only one with a separately applied tail lamp.
Well, maybe they gave him the special treatment because, after all, he is Thomas. Come on, Origin James. You got this.
This is front trucks.
Front truck's always coming off. Like I was saying, there's not a lot of weight up in the front to keep them trucks on the tracks.
Okay, let's try that.
You know, while we're over here and we're talking about all our Thomas trains, don't forget this guy that we have over here on the layout too.
Trevor the traction engine.
Trevor the traction engine. I like children.
James loves derailing for some reason.
Come on, James. Did a bit more. There you go. Right in front of the Hornby factory. Shouldn't that be the Bachmann factory there?
Yeah.
Here's our Bachmann factory. We did an episode where we were creating these signs for our industries back there by using the logos that are on the boxes of the products that we purchase. You know, it's a simple little hack that we came up with to just cut the logo out and use a little bit of this Bondo or whatever it's called to stick them on there. And we got somebody coming up next. Who do we got now, Drake?
Now it's Percy.
Percy. Now, Percy, isn't he like always ending up in floods or something? Or somehow he always ends up in water. Am I right about that, or am I not?
It's only one episode, I think.
It's one
that
episode?
He ends up in the water.
Doesn't he like also go off a dock or something?
Yeah, I think that's Percy takes a plunge.
Is that the one where they say don't go past danger?
Yeah, that's Percy takes a plunge.
Percy takes a plunge, yeah. And then there's the one where like Harold the helicopter has to come rescue him because he's in a flood or something.
Yeah, that's Percy's promise.
Percy's promise. You Thomas fans, you know all this stuff, huh?
And his bunker is gray when it's supposed to be green.
Oh, so that's one of those instances where they kind of like, it's a goof. All right, Thomas Goof. You guys ever watch those goof videos? I love those. Where the guy counts how many different things they goofed on in the episode. What's Percy's story?
Percy is a shunter engine.
Percy is a shunter engine.
And sometimes he does take the mail train alongside Thomas.
You know, in the lore of the stories, was Percy already in the story before Thomas arrived?
It was Thomas first, then Percy.
So Percy came from somewhere else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know where he came from?
No.
No? So it wasn't like he was like LNER or something, or
It doesn't. They don't say.
they don't tell you. Oh, now here we go. We're coming up on my favorite engine,
Number 7.
number 7. Not really an engine. He's a tram.
He's a steam tram.
Steam
Correction.
tram. Mr. Toby over here. And we kind of customized him a little bit. We put a bell on the top there with the rope because the bell was molded in and it just kind of looked not very good.
Yeah, it didn't look that great.
Now, Toby has the side plates. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Is that what they call them? They're like coverings because he would run on streets or like where there were pedestrians and stuff. So
Side plates and cow catchers.
side plates and cow catchers. And I guess that was a feature, a safety feature for people and bicycles and things that were going to be in the roadway near where he was running.
Yes. And we cannot forget about his coach.
But Toby was a favorite of the Reverend Audrey, wasn't he?
Yes.
Isn't there like a whole story about how he rode on Toby with his family or something? And
I think that was Sir Topham Hatt.
Sir Topham Hatt? Oh, right. There's an episode with Sir Topham Hatt and they go to like the old ghost mansion or something, right? A castle or something. I think they take Toby maybe to the beach or something and then to a castle. So you hooked up a coach back there.
That is Henrietta,
Henrietta.
Toby's coach.
Does Henrietta have like a face on her?
No.
Or like, so
That's one thing Bachmann does not do.
in the episode though, is there a face on her?
No, that's only CGI.
Only in the CGI.
But now Bachmann fixed that. Should they put a face on Henrietta, but only for N scale, not HO scale.
I suppose if they were going to put it on the HO scale, they'd have to retool everything.
No,
Even
they
though-
just make a bigger face
They just make a bigger face?
and just put it on there
Yeah.
for HO scale.
Right.
I don't know why Bachmann doesn't do that. Toby's a little loud.
So Toby, is he like the only Thomas character that has a bell?
Only character that has a bell.
That's a little bit of trivia for you there.
He also has a whistle, but it's only in one episode.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard his whistle, but I do have the sound of his bell ringing in my memory.
You can hear his whistle in the episode Bullseyes.
Bull's Eyes.
That's the episode you hear his whistle.
It sounds like Toby stopped inside. So I'm going to take you guys backstage here for a second, and we're going to go look inside there. Can you see that? I'm going to give him a little tap. Come on, Toby. There it is. That's the inside of a tunnel. And then we just have like a blackout cloth there. Toby's my favorite character. You know, he's always so skittish. Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Again, that's only in CGI, not in the model.
He doesn't do that in the model series, but I like to do that here on Runaway Trains. Thomas, the tank engine over here, and Toby, the steam tram, Mr. Number 7 over there with Henrietta. We're going to have a special place for you right up in the front, Toby.
Even though he's number 7.
Even though you're number 7, to the front of the line.
Next will be Duck.
Now, Duck is also based on a particular train, a real-life train.
The pannier tank, which is right here,
Pannier tank engine.
right behind Gordon.
And let's take you over here. We'll see
That's
that.
the pannier, right here.
Yeah,
That's Duck.
that's the real Duck. And this is Montague over here himself, also known as Duck. How did Duck get his name?
Because he had a supposed waddle. The Reverend Audrey's duck didn't have a phalange on the middle wheel, so it looked like he waddled when he went around the layout.
Oh, okay.
The middle wheel wasn't phalanged on his model, so he had a waddle. So that's why he named him Duck.
Okay, so I just learned something there. I thought maybe because he had a duck in his tank. Didn't one of the trains have like a duck in his tank?
That was from another episode. That was from in the episode Donald's Duck.
Oh, Donald had the duck in there, huh? Donald's duck. And Thomas had fish in his tank, right?
Tank, yes.
Yeah.
Now, Duck can pull passengers or freight. It doesn't matter.
Does he have a problem pulling the freight? Because some of the engines have an attitude when they have to pull freight.
Nope. Duck doesn't care what he has to pull. He'll pull it with no problem. Now is Duck. After Duck would be Oliver, but I don't have Oliver.
We don't have Oliver, but we have the real Oliver somewhere.
Yes, the 14XX.
14XX. So eventually we'll get an Oliver in our collection here.
Yes, eventually we will get an Oliver.
I think, you know, once you start getting one or two of the Thomas trains, eventually you're going to end up getting them all.
No, this is from a CGI movie, The Adventure Begins, which Origin James is from.
Okay.
This is Thomas, but in his green livery.
LBSC. Now,
which is London, Brighton, South Coast.
Oh, okay. So when this guy arrives in the show, he's kind of not really like it's his first time, so they end up repainting him and stuff, right?
They end up repainting him in the iconic blue.
So from number 70 LBSC green livery to number 1
with the blue livery.
The blue livery. And now when he gets repainted, is he proud to be blue or something? Is there like...
Yes, he is proud to be blue.
That, like, blue is like a special livery for these trains, I suppose.
Yes,
they're very proud.
If you noticed, Thomas, Edward, and Gordon are blue.
So that must be like a very important color, you know. And maybe that's why James is always like boasting about how he's bright red, because basically I think he's the only red engine in the whole show, right?
And yeah, before James was red, he was black with red.
All right, well, we're going to do a little bit of the old paint scheme of Thomas. Man, that guy's fast. I can barely keep up with that now.
He's in the tunnel now. And there he is.
You know, while we're running these trains, let's give some shout outs to some of our friends out there. Randy, our #1 fan out there who loves to leave messages for us. We're thinking about you. Thank you for being one of our pals. We want to give a shout out to SMT Mainline, who we love to watch. Eric's Trains, who does the Lionels. RBP also does the Lionels. What's the couple of the British guys we love to watch? Sam's Trains. There's a new guy, what's his, SD something. He doesn't have a name. It's like SD something something with number. But I love his because he doesn't say a word like we do. You know, we're constantly blabbering. But his are always nice and silent, and he adds the real train sounds when he runs his British trains. He's a great guy. I'll have to see if we can find it, and we'll put it in the description. And who else do we like to watch? I love Train of Thought. Here's our Emily.
Yes.
Emily was one of the first ones we got as well. We haven't really run her in probably a couple of years, so I'm curious to see how she's going to do.
Yeah, and then Emily is also based off a real engine, too.
Mm-hmm.
The Emerald Sterling single, number 1. But in the show, she is number 12.
I don't see a number on her, so what did we get, like a rare one or something?
No, Bachmann probably was lazy and didn't put a number on her.
Yeah. I also see she's got a pair of coaches there.
Yes.
Do they have names like Annie and Clarabelle or anything?
No, they don't.
They're just her coaches.
They're just our coaches. Since she has that one big wheel in the middle, she can't go up Gordon's Hill, so I'm going to have to bring her through the town.
Oh, okay. Can we run her one more time through the town? I know, like, our viewers never get to see us run trains through town. Maybe they'd like to see that again. We want to give our friend Nick a shout out, Georgie Pennywise, and our buddy Earl as well, and Teresa. I know you guys like to watch our channel. Thank you so much for being our friends and fans.
I'm gonna have to remove Annie and Clarabelle to put Emily somewhere.
Yeah, Drake's gonna make a little room while he's doing that. Have you guys ever played the game Train Station 2, I think it's called? You can download that on your tablet or on
iPad.
whatever, your iPad or whatever you like to do your gaming on or your screen time. Train Station 2, I love it. You know, you collect trains from the different countries and you complete jobs to earn more trains. And they always have like a special event where you can earn new trains that are only available during the event outside of the regular collection that they offer. And, you know, it doesn't cost anything. It's free. I suppose if you want to buy some of the, you know, trains that they offer you in the game, you can do that too. But I never spend the money on it. I just love collecting the trains that I get from completing my jobs and stuff.
Now we have a special pair from Scotland now.
We got number 9 and 10.
Donald and Douglas.
Donny!
And Dougie.
There they go. The Scottish twins. Or Caledonian twins?
Caledonian twins, yes.
Yeah. When we watch the Thomas episodes, they have the different narrators. And I think George Carlin probably does the best voice for these guys.
Yes,
right?
George Carlin does the best ones for Donald and Douglas.
Who else does George Carlin do the best voice for?
I would say Gordon.
He's got a good Gordon, yeah.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin, I think he does a good Sir Topham Hatt.
Now, the thing about Donald and Douglas, that they are twins, but sometimes they take trains by themselves, so they're not always together. Now,
we
mentioned the episode Donald's Duck. This is the engine.
So that's the
from
one.
that episode.
The duck was in the boiler, huh?
The duck was in his tender.
So they have water in the tender too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah. So one of the workers opened it up and there was a quacker in there.
And Duck's crew put it in Douglas. Donald's, I said Douglas, I meant Donald's tender where his water goes.
And why did they put it in there? Was it like a practical joke or something?
Donald was teasing Duck, and so
Oh.
Duck's crew played a trick on Donald.
He was teasing this guy. So they put a duck in his tender.
And Donald's crew put a duck egg behind Duck's bunker. So it looks like he laid an egg.
Oh, so then they were paying him out by putting the duck in that guy's boiler over there.
And his tender, not boiler.
Not boiler, because then we'd have duck soup.
Yes.
Now, we have another video. I can't remember which one it was, but...
It was this one.
So when we ordered this online and it came...
the motor was wired backwards.
Yeah, the motor was wired backwards. So when we tried to run the engines together,
one was going backwards, the other one was going forwards.
So they would like pull apart from each other.
They were pulling each other.
Yeah. So we had to open them up, and then I just resoldered the wire the other way.
And
I fixed it. So we can run them together if you want.
Together.
You want to try running them together, or you want to give them each separate?
Like where the tunnel, near the tunnel, one of them will derail, so I'm gonna run one at a time.
So we'll just do one at a time. So here comes number 9, Donald.
They also pull passengers or freight. Doesn't matter.
Do you ever see the episode where they swap numbers?
They swap tenders.
They swap tenders. That's
because they didn't have numbers before. They didn't have numbers or names. So they swapped tenders.
So they were trying to trick Sir Topham Hatt.
But Sir Topham Hatt found out.
And what was the point? Why were they trying to trick him? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
I think like in the beginning, they were worried that they were going to get deported from the island. I think.
Right, one was going to be sent back and scrapped.
One of them was going to be sent back and scrapped, and they thought that if they could confuse them into keeping both of them, that they'd had a better chance of both staying. And eventually Sir Topham Hatt
found out what they were
He
doing.
found out what they were doing, but it ended up working in their favor in the long run.
Because Percy told Sir Topham Hatt about Donald and Douglas. That was number 9. That was Donald. Now we're going to do Douglas. Number 10. And this one is in the episode Escape.
Escape was when he's in the scrapyard, right?
Delivering the midnight goods and saving Oliver from scrap. But
So he goes in there to save Oliver,
yes,
but he was he went in head first.
and came out tender.
So there's
First.
like, what is the famous line he says?
No time to turn round. I'll run tender first. And he did.
And he did.
But I don't have him.
We don't have Oliver, so
I don't have Oliver. But eventually I will get Oliver.
I think one of the hardest accents to do is the Scottish accent.
Scottish accent. That is so hard to do.
I mean, people can fake a British accent, but the Scottish one,
Scottish.
it's its own thing, man.
It's its own accent. You can't do it. I'm actually gonna make him run tender first. Right about now.
No time to turn around.
I'll run tender first.
There he goes. Donald and Douglas, Scottish twins.
Scotland, Scottish twins. Doesn't matter. They're still twins.
So I'm looking down the line here, our trains here. I don't see any other Thomas trains except, if you want to let me get past you here, Drake. We've got this guy up here. I think this guy counts, doesn't he?
Scarlowy, but he is narrow gauge.
Scarlowy is narrow gauge. And we have our line up there for him, but it's not really running right now.
It's not. We're still working on it.
But I'll just show you. These are small. They run on the N-scale track. And, you know, they're from Bachmann as well. I remember when this came, I had no idea how small it was going to be. You can kind of see, let me see if I can bring it down here and put it next to, like, Annie and Clarabelle. You know, you can kind of see.
I'm going to get Thomas so we could actually do a real size comparison. Yeah. So there's Scarlowy. And there's Thomas.
So you can kind of see the...
Which is actually kind of accurate to the TV show, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the TV show, standard gauge was that big, and narrow gauge was that small, which is actually really accurate from Bachmann.
Now, these have all the working side rods and everything on them, but there's no moving eyes on these.
On the narrow gauge,
But they're still fun. You know, they have Duncan...
Well, they were going to make Duncan, but they did not make Duncan in the end.
Oh, they didn't make him, no?
No. They made a Rheneas, but in the yellow paint scheme.
Oh, okay. But if you got a Rheneas, could you repaint it?
You could modify Rheneas, yeah.
Yeah. Rheneas or Rheneas, you guys decide. Potato, potato.
It's actually pronounced Rheneas, not Rheneas.
Cato, Cato. Anyway. I don't know, Drake. Anything else we want to show anybody here? I'll just go by one more time, sweep by the trains, and just say thank you to everybody for supporting our channel. We're approaching 1,000 subscribers now, and we're so grateful for you guys to like our videos and leaving comments and subscribing and sharing and stuff. We really appreciate it. You know, we're not professionals by any means. I just film using my cell phone. I recently got one of those like hand grip things, so, you know, I don't have to keep making noise on the phone microphone. But like I was saying, you know, we're just amateur hobbyists. We just love model railroading. We love all the Thomas stuff, especially. We love that the Thomas stuff is based on actual real trains, and to have a few of those real British trains in our collection, it's just, you know, a fun part of the hobby too. You know, we make that connection. You know, of course, we like all the British stuff and the American trains. We like steam and diesel. We've got a few Markland trains in the back there. I don't know if you can see that. But, you know, people will give you stuff. When they learn that you collect trains and you run trains, they start to give you things. And it's nice once in a while to receive something. Like our friends at the Whistle Stop gave us this Clementine, which we gave to our friend Nick. You know, if somebody gives you something, it's good to share it with a friend to help get them started in a hobby too. And if we can get any of you guys interested in a hobby through our videos, then, you know, we're helping out, you know, and we appreciate that. We're grateful to have you as friends and followers, and I'm babbling on here, so we're going to end it now. Yeah. All right. So, Drake, let's say thank you to everybody for watching Runaway Trains.
We'll see you on the next run.